Hi guys, Miss K here. Welcome back to my channel. In this video I'm going to be showing you guys how I got these super cute sweater Frenchies. So if you're interested, then keep on watching. So hopping right in, we're going to be using Young Nails Swipe, and I'm going to be using this to dehydrate and cleanse my nail of the dusties from filing my nails and then any other debris or oil that might possibly be on my nails. So I'm just wiping them down with a paper towel. You can use a lint-free wipe if that's what you want to use, but I just use a paper towel. So that's what they're looking like, nice and clean. Then I'm going in with C&D's gel polish in the color Field Fox, and I'm using this on my pinky, and I'm just using it straight out of the bottle, and I am applying it to about half of the nail and making a smile line with the brush that comes in the bottle. Then, as you can see on my little resin palette back there behind my hand, I have all of my gel polishes on that palette, and I'm going to be using my McCart number 3 brush to dip into the color Field Fox again, and I'm going to perfect my smile line on my pinky nail with this brush. So this just kind of makes it a little bit easier for me rather than drawing the whole French tip and then going in and filling it in. It's easier for me to just go ahead and paint the nail and then go back in with my 3D nail art brush, as you can see I'm doing here, and some acetone and just cleaning it up. And then after I do that, I'll go back in with my liner brush and re-crisping up that line and really get it looking how I want it to. I didn't want it to be a super deep French because I wanted to be able to get the sweater design on the French tip, so it's kind of just a regular old French, not too deep, not too shallow. Then I'll be going in with Nude Knickers by C&D as well, and I'll be using this on my ring finger, and I'm just going to repeat the exact same process. So paint it on there with the brush that comes in the bottle, and then I'm going to use my liner brush and the little bit that I put on the palette back there, and I'm just going to crispen up that line. And then once I'm done with that, I'll clean it up with some acetone. And then next I'm using this polish called Shalolo in number SA07012, and I got these off of Amazon. They came with like a little light, a UV light, but the light was trash, so it's in the trash. But the polishes, I still have them, so I like to use them whenever, you know, I need that color. So this is in the number 12, like I said, and I'm just going to be following that exact same process that I did on the other 2 fingers. And then I also wanted to mention that in between each finger I am curing it. You don't have to do this, but I like to cure it in between each finger just to make sure that I don't accidentally mess up what I've already created. So now on this finger I'm using Shalolo SA07011, and it's just this really pretty pink color. I love it, and I just follow the exact same process. Then I'm using the Shalolo SA07010, which is kind of like a corally color, which is super cute. I love these colors for the fall time, and even though that color on my pointer finger is pink, it still looks really cute with the rest of the colors. And I think that since I'm doing the sweater nails, that kind of ties into the fall vibes, and even though it's pink, it just makes it a little bit more girly. It doesn't really take away from the fall vibe. So I'm going in and cleaning this up. Here we go. And then once I'm done applying the polish on all of the nails, I go back in and I do a second coat. The second coat I don't do as precise as I do the first coat. The first coat is really the outline and the basis of our design. So here I am going back in with my big brush, and I am just going to apply it on the nail in the same spot where I had already applied the polish before. And then I'm going in here because I accidentally went over the smile line with the color, and I'm just going to fix that up with some acetone, and then I go back in with my liner brush and I fix it up here, and then I literally do that exact same process on all 10 of my nails, just with the corresponding color that goes for that French. So I made sure that I did 2 coats on every nail because I wanted to make sure that it was nice and opaque. I didn't want my nude fingernails showing through. So I'm gonna do that, and then I'll be back with you guys.
Let's see.
Okay guys, so one thing I wanted to mention is that I had accidentally did the sweater nail, as you can see here, before I did the top coat. So I'm going to go in and do my top coat now, and I'm using the Chiara Sky acrylic top coat for this, and I'm going to apply this on all 10 of my nails, including my pinky that I already did the sweater design on, and then I'm just gonna go over it after I cure the top coat. So I'm gonna go ahead and apply this on all 10 of my nails, and then I will be back with you guys. So here I thought I was just going to apply the top coat to the nude part of my nail and kind of skip out on the French tip, but then it wasn't shiny underneath, so I wasn't feeling that. So I just went over the whole thing, and then I'm going to cure this in my light for 2 minutes, and it's a no wipe top coat, so I really like that about it. And then I'll go in and do the sweater design afterwards. So after it's done curing, it looks like this. Then I'll be going in with the same polish color that I used for the French tip, and I'm just going to draw 2 vertical lines down the nail on either side of it like this, and then I go in between and I do like these little like squiggly lines. I don't really know how to explain it. So how I actually did it was I did 2 little lines next to each other, and then I go back in and connect them diagonally. So here I'm doing the 2 little lines, and then I connect it diagonal like that. And I did that with all of those little lines, and this kind of just gives it that cute sweater vibe, like as if it's knitted. So I'm gonna do that, and then after I'm done painting it with the polish, I'll go in and use my Young Nails Speed Clear acrylic powder and pour that over the top of it without curing it first. So you paint it on and then pour the acrylic powder on top while it's still wet, and then after you're done pouring it on there, then you cure it in the light. But you want to make sure that you pour the acrylic powder on it until it's not wet anymore. So once you don't see any moisture, that's when it's good and it's ready to go into the light. So I use this little tray, and it gives me like the perfect amount of acrylic powder that I need for it. So here I am tapping it off, and then this is what it looks like, and I'm gonna put that in my light and cure it for a minute, and then do that same process on my other nails. So So I'm dusting it off so I can show you. This is what it looks like. It's so cute. I love it. Okay, so after I'm done with that one, I'm gonna go in and I'm going to do my pointer finger. And for my pointer finger, I'm doing a heart sweater design. So I use a dotting tool and I put 2 little dots right next to each other. Then I go down a little bit further and I do 2 little dots right next to each other again. And then I go in with one of my liner brushes by McCart, and I bring them together in a point at the bottom like this, and then attach it so that it looks like a heart. It's pretty easy, honestly. If I don't like how it looks, then I just go back in and kind of touch it up even more. So I pull it together and then I go up and fill it in so that way it looks like a heart, just like this. And then I wanted it to be a little bit thicker, so I added a little bit more polish and thickened it up a little bit, just like that. And then I'm going to go in with an even smaller dotting tool, and I'm just going to add some little dots around the heart. So I'm going to put 3 over on this side, 1 above each heart, and then 1 down at the very bottom. And then I do the same thing on the other side of the heart. And after I do this, then I'm going to go in with my liner brush and I'm going to draw a little squiggly line along the sides of it, so that way it kind of gives that sweatery vibe. So I do that on one side, and then I do the mirrored version of it on the other side of the hearts. And then after I'm done drawing this on, I go back in with the acrylic powder again before I cure it, so while it's still wet, and then I'm going to pour the acrylic powder over the top of my design, and that's what gives it the cute sweater nail effect. So you really want to make sure that your polish is kind of thick, like kind of sticking out of the nail. You don't want it to be nice and flat. You want to be able to see your design, so that way when you pour your acrylic on, it pops up. So this is what that one's looking like. It's super cute. And then last but not least, I'm going to go in and do my thumb. So for my thumb, I'm basically following the exact same thing that I did on my pinky. So I've got my 2 little lines, and then I put 2 lines right next to each other like this. And it's kind of giving like middle of the street vibes. Dotted line. And then I'm going to draw a line on either side of my little road thing. So one on the left side and one on the right side. Then after I do this, I'm going to go back in and connect my little dotted lines together like how I did on my pinky, except the only difference I do here is I connect both sides. So I do my diagonal line here, and then I go and I crisscross it on the other side. So that way it has more of like a chained effect rather than just the little cable knit type of vibe that it had before. So then after I'm done doing this, I'm going to go back in with my polish again, and I'm going to go along the sides of the nails, and I'm just going to draw some little diagonal lines down the side. So on the outside of that vertical line that I drew, now I'm going to draw little diagonal lines going downwards. Alrighty, so after I'm done drawing it, I go back in and thicken up my lines a little bit so that way the acrylic will stick to the polish nice and it'll give it a nice 3D effect. So I do that, and then I go in with my acrylic powder and pour it over the top, and then I cure it in the light for 2 minutes. So now for my middle finger, I'm using the pink polish that I had used before on my pointer finger, and I am drawing a vertical line down a little bit on the right side of the nail. So this is going to be my plaid nail. So I do that, and then you want it to be a little bit thick so that way you can go back in with the brown in the middle of it. So you want to make sure that you have enough space to do that. And then close to the tip of the nail but not directly on the tip, I draw a horizontal line across, which is the same thickness as the vertical line that I had created, and then I make sure that I get it on the sides of the nail so that way it's all the way through. It just doesn't stop right there on the edge. So I'm doing this with the pink, and then after I'm done with this, I'm going to cure it in the light for 2 minutes, and I make sure that I cure in between every layer. I only do 1 coat of this, and then now I'm going in with the brown color that I had used, the Field Fox, and I'm just drawing a really thin line along the vertical line and then the vertical pink line, so right down the middle of it, and then I do a really thin line along the horizontal one right down the middle of that one as well. So this kind of just adds to the plaid effect, and if you want to add more lines you can, but I just kind of like this. It's simplistic, but it looks like, you know, it took a lot of work. It's super cute. So I draw that, and I make sure that I get it on the edge as well, down the sides. And then I'm going to cure this in the light for 2 minutes also once I'm done drawing it on there.
Let's see.
Okay, so now that I'm done with that, I'm going to be using this GAOY in the number 1203, and this is a reflective polish, so I'm putting this on my little resin palette so that way I can go in and draw with it. So what I'm doing on my plaid nail is I'm going in on the other side of the nail on the left side, and I'm drawing down a vertical line just like how I had done before with the pink, except not as thick. And then kind of across the top of the nail, I'm going in and I'm drawing a horizontal line that is gonna go, and it's gonna cross across the top. I don't really know how to explain it, but you guys can see what I'm doing. So this is going to give that plaid effect that we're looking for. So I do this, and I make sure that I get it on the edges as well, and then I bring it all the way across, and that's that for that fingernail. And then I decided last minute after I had cured this that I wanted to go back in and line the smile line of all of my Frenchies with this glitter. It just adds that extra pop. So here I'm doing that, and then I'm going to repeat that exact same process on all 10 of my nails, and I'm just using this same liner brush that I had used earlier from the cart. So I just line the smile line, and I feel like this really kind of helps crispen up your smile line if you're not that good at doing French tips. just add in this extra line and it makes it look even cleaner. So I'm doing this, and then I will be back once I'm done.
Let's see.
On my ring finger, I originally was going to do 3D flowers, but then I did the plain French and I really liked how it looked. It was simple and it kind of went with the flow of everything else, and I felt like the 3D flower might have just been too much. So this is super cute. Then I'm going in with my Kiara Sky acrylic top coat, and I'm going to go over the entire middle fingernail, so that way I can make sure my polish is nice and sealed in there. And then I'm also going to go over the top of my ring finger, and then I use this liner brush and I go over the reflective glitter polish, and I just feel like this gives it that extra pop. And then I also go in with the top coat and I'm going to cover up my nude nail bed area. So after I'm done using the liner brush to do this, then I go in with the actual brush from the polish and I just do another top coat. So here I'm doing that, and this just kind of gives it that extra shine so that it looks really nice and pretty. And there we go. Make sure that I got it nice and sealed in, and then I'm going to cure it for a minute, or actually for 2 minutes. Then I'm going in with my cuticle oil and I'm going to rub this in, and then that's all, you guys. This is the finished product. I really hope you guys enjoyed this video, and if you learned something, go ahead and like this video and subscribe to my channel. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you in my next one. Bye.